some people feel difficult to find workers for the rice fields. Decreasing agriculture and then stagnant decline of rice production. This is more of the effects of urbanization. Now, if you look at Jakarta, this is an example of urbanization. Jakarta is the most populous city in Indonesia, even in Southeast Asia. And this is the 14th most populated city on earth. It's quite surprising. And official metropolitan area of Jakarta is the third largest in the world. I just realized this, that wow, this is quite large. And the population is around 30 million for this big area, what we call Jakarta, Bogor, and so forth, the metropolitan area. And it's growing faster than Beijing and Bangkok. Population density, see that? Now, we see that here, what we call urbanization, really serious problem for Jakarta. And I think also for other cities in Indonesia, if we cannot deal with this in good way. Corruption, this is the problem. We have a problem of corruption in Indonesia. And corruption is a new concept in Indonesia. And it's not very easy for Indonesians to understand what is corruption. Because it's a Western concept, and its meaning is not always understood. People do not know about the abuse of power, abuse of bureaucratic position. They know bribe, but some of them do not think that bribe is wrong. Maybe it's very common, something like that. So corruption is mostly understood in Indonesia, taking money legally from state projects. This is very easy definition. Too easy actually. That's why many kinds of corruption took place, because people do not know that they do corruption. And then asking for gratification, although this is not also something wrong according to many people. Then we have tradition-based corruption. Why is it based on the tradition? We have traditional items. Traditionally, a headman, a ruler, received tributes from the subordinates, from the communities where his leadership is protection. But today, you cannot do this. But in the past, this is the system. So when you change from the traditional system to the Western new system, then you have problems. This is different rules. But not many people can understand this. Traditional political systems are still alive, formally or informally. If you go to Jogja, it's Mataram Kingdom, it's formally alive. The governor is the Sultan. So there's a problem. Should you govern in traditional way, or should you end up bureaucracy, which is rational? That's a problem. Should you treat your king as just like other people, or should you treat him as your king? That's a problem. Now, that's why it's not easy to fight corruption in Indonesia. And then the kratons of many kratons, many sultan places actually still alive, although informally. So these traditions, because they are still alive, it's not very easy to be changed. Tradition continues until today, when the tradition has become modern, relational bureaucracy, in which tributes of gratification are not needed, even considered illegal. So sometimes you do not know whether you do something corruption or not, because the line is not always really spirited, because you have two different systems. Now, environmental problems. These are the issues. Degradation, water pollution, of course, air pollution, natural disaster. This is very common. Forest opening for palm oil or illegal logging. And then mining, coal, nickel, gold. So we have environmental problems, of course, with these things. And it's not very easy to deal with these things. It's very difficult. Because Indonesia is so large, we have so many forests, and sometimes you cannot control all of these things. And then social media. This is the last one that really make people very concerned about the situation or the relationship with people in Indonesia because of hoax, hate speech, negative campaign, which you got through WhatsApp, yeah, through lines, through your internet, yeah, through social media. Because of the introduction of internet, introduction of handphones, yeah, so you have changes of communication, changes in social relationships. But there are two kinds of changes, positive and negative. Yeah? You have fast spread of news, fast communication, pictorial, more concrete news, more global connections, renewing, strengthening old relationships, and creating new relationship networks, and more egalitarian communication. Those are positive changes. But you have also, of course, negative changes. Yeah. Abuse of new channels, hoax, hate speech. Hoaxes are very bad in Indonesia. And sometimes people do that intentionally. And unrestrained freedom of speech. So you have hate speech sometimes. Less written news, more audiovisual news. This is a problem for especially children, who tend to like more audiovisual news rather than written news. So become less serious. Now the impacts are less ethics in communication and these other things. Okay, we go further, cultural changes and cultural losses. Because of the changes, then we lose some cultures, some elements of cultures. Because of more communication with national language in daily life, newspapers, radio, television, then of course less use of ethnic or local languages. So the impact is the vanishing ethnic languages, vanishing ethnic knowledge. So we cannot transfer this knowledge to the newer generation, then we'll have problems. We'll lose this knowledge, this traditional, like knowledge on architecture, traditional architecture, knowledge on belief system, and so on. More modern, national, global spectacles in mass media, and rare traditional local ethnic spectacles. Impacts lesser known ethnic tradition, vanishing ethnic tradition. This is a big problem for Indonesians. Because in the future, there might be more ethnic traditions which get lost. Because the new generation maybe are not interested or they are not really educated in that tradition. So they don't know much about their own traditions. This is a problem. That's why cultural changes in this way may mean also cultural losses. We lost some of our elements of culture. We have, of course, national newspapers, which really influence the way we think, the way we speak about things. And of course, we have national language. That is good, unifying language. But when we speak more Indonesian, then we lost our ethnic language. I speak more Indonesian now rather than Javanese. Although I can speak Javanese, but for everyday life, I should use more Indonesian with other people because they know more about Bahasa Indonesia or Indonesian language rather than Javanese language. As media, there's a local newspaper also. We have a lot, and then of course channels, television. This really gives influence to culture, Indonesian culture. Due to these channels with Indonesian language, influence of Indonesian languages become greater and stronger, and the ethnic languages less and less and may disappear in the future. These are private channels. During the new order, actually, we have only one channel, this one. But after Suharto, we have a lot of new channels, local and national. And that's really a big change for us, because then we see different perspectives from different television. We used to have only one perspective, from government perspective, because we have what we call TVRI, Television of Republic of Indonesia. So it's from government. But after we have private channels, then we see that you can see things differently, from different point of view. And this really a lot of really big change for Indonesia. Yeah? You see these national private channels, they are influential in shaping our ideas about Indonesia, about politics and so forth. And what are the attempts? The attempts to prevent cultural losses. I think here, first, research on ethnic cultures. We try to do research on that. And then documentation of ethnic traditions, digitalizing cultural information, publishing cultural information, and re-actualizing of ethnic traditions. These are the lists that we do and still doing, yeah? And maybe also in the future. Many things, yeah. Anyway, this is a list of things we do, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Okay, now, sorry, I speak.
Yeah, please. Don't worry about that.
OK， 刚刚那个黑迪教授哈，他从古典到现在讲很丰富的整体的介绍印尼的那个文化。印尼是相当复杂的多元种族文化的一个地方哈。而且他们也面临到传统文化的流失。要政府应该有一套的政策，怎么去 restore， 就是在重整传统文化。虽然印尼有一个，其实印尼这个国家是被创造出来的，以前都是不同的地方都有自己的政府。严格来讲，如果说我没有误解的话，印尼是荷兰人创造出来的，然后呢才独立变成一个自己印尼那个地区的努桑塔拉那个国家的那个地区的人民的一个联合的国家。所以你看，现在爪哇岛、苏门答腊，还有那个克里曼丹，还有那个苏拉威西甚至摩洛卡，那个香港等等很多都是不同文化。但是，所以在印尼呢，因为统一之后呢，他们异中求同，现在成这样的做法，就是说。明天的那个研讨会，我们都会讨论到这些问题啦。那对于刚刚那个Professor Heddy 的演讲，有没有什么问题你们不了解，可以提出来，可以用英文问，可以用中文问。中文问的话，我帮你们翻译。我刚刚提到，你们有没有注意到，说印尼现在有6个方面的宗教，对不对？最后一个是什么呢？是 Confucianism。你们在台湾，你觉得？Confucianism 是个宗教吗？我想待会请教那个Professor Heddy 还有他讲到潘扎西拉，你们有没有概念？什么是潘扎西拉？是所谓的建国5原则。那建国5原则呢？这个影响到他整个那个宗教在这个国家的发展。OK， 有没有什么问题可以先提出来？那待会我再请教Professor Heddy 这2个问题。有没有问题？不要客气啊。不要被吓了。Yes， 可以。
就是刚才有提到，就是 family planning 的这个问题。
Family planning， yeah。
就是现在很多国家就是想要促进，因为有少子化问题，所以都会鼓励国民多生育。但是为什么印尼政府他们会相反的想要让国民就是实施监狱？
Why does the government implement this kind of planning to reduce the population? What do you mean?
Why they use family planning to reduce the? Well, why? I think because it is the most effective way of trying to control increase of population. And the family planning is like this actually. First, as I remember at the time, at least the ideal situation is 2 children. Yeah. Because before that, usually when people have 4 children. In my years, my parents, of course, for instance, have 12 children. I'm the 7th. So we have children. So it's a lot. Yeah. And then my generation now. Not more than 4. Yeah. Usually 2. Yeah. This is the ideal. Yeah. So, but this is not actually planned by the government. but it changed because our ideas has changed. Yeah. That the ideal situation is not with many children, but with better situation, better development for the children, better care for the children. But in the past, during Suharto's era, yes, he used family planning. Yeah. But again, in the way that first the ideal is 5, and then 3, and then 2. So, but it's not in, not directly, but step by step. Yeah. The ideal situation is this, and then you reduce the children again until the ideal is 2, not 1 or not 3. And according to them, because people still think like this, you have boys, at least if you have 2, you have boys and girls. And then people think, well, sometimes you don't get boys at all, you didn't get girls at all. Then the government say, well, 2, it's not a problem whether you get boys or only girls. That's the campaign at that time. So a little bit, then you change your mind, and that's the way we should do with family planning. Then we can at least reduce the increase of the population. I don't know the other way, because you cannot kill people, right? So what you can do is family planning in this case. Okay?
Yeah.
I hope you can answer the question.
这个问题就是说在很多国家都有这个现象。我们举那个中国为例，中国之前只能1胎，对不对？那现在工业化之后呢，它要经济成长需要很多的劳力，它现在又开放了，可以2胎，甚至一些那个少数的民族他们也没有限制。那台湾也是啊，台湾以前是有家庭计划，对不对？人口很穷的国家需要人口控制。OK， 现在你们去看阿拉伯国家，最明显就是埃及，它有那个家庭计划要控制它的人口发展，因为国家的经济能力没有那么强。当你经济发展好了，需要更多的那个人力资源的话，分配能力就会被改变。OK， 还有没有什么？
I can add a little bit. Actually, the problem in Indonesia is not only on the increase of population, but also imbalance of distribution. That's why I have also at that time, wait, I have to go back to Suharto era, transmigration. So this is very important policy, because then you can spread people from Java with 60% population to other islands. Our problems is not only the number of population, but especially imbalance of distribution. You have many people on Java, but outside Java, you have very big land in Kalimantan, Sumatra. That's why transmigration is quite important at the time. It's a big project. That's
了解吗？因为它这个人口分布不均啊，它几乎所有人口都集中在Java上。所以其他的地方都人口稀疏，所以需要去迁徙去开垦，这个是一个很重要的观念。有没有什么问题？
I have 2 questions. And the first
You want to use microphone?
I have 2 questions, and the first question is because in Indonesia, the Indonesian have to register your belief on the ID card. Yeah. I want to ask, is there any influence because of this policy? Just like if I have local belief, but I have to choose a region to believe. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. And then the second question is there any local social media try to use their media to spread their own local culture? Because I think it's a way to keep their local culture through media.
Okay, thank you very much. For the first, is there any difference when you put your identity of local belief as a local believers, or you prefer local beliefs rather than religion? Yes, of course, because the problem is this: if you are not Muslim, if you think, I believe not in Islam, I don't believe in Christian, I believe in local belief system, and then you die. The problem is what kind of ritual you have. If you are a Muslim, can you accept as you buried as in a Muslim way? That's the question. You want to be buried as a local believers, yeah? Or believe in local belief system. Yeah? So, how can we get there? Yeah, surface. If I should put on my ID card Islam or Catholic, people then look at, oh, he's a Catholic. Bring him to the church. Or bring to the mosque. Yeah? But actually, I don't want to go there. Oh, I don't want. Yeah? But that's what happened. So, people struggle. Yeah? That we may put our local belief system on their card so that people can perform rituals for us in the way that we like it. That's the difference. Okay?
So maybe this policy decrease the how to say so it looks like this policy destroy the local culture a little bit. Just
destroy.
因为我觉得很词汇很强烈，但我不知道要怎样。
你的意思
Yeah,
是什么？
listen.
有天晴吗？
它会不会影响到就是原本它自身的文化被消解那种感觉，就没有人兴趣。
So it is, yeah, it's kind of related to maybe local religion, local religion. What religion? This kind of policy. Maybe do some damage to the local belief of popular religion.
Well, what people think is that it supports the local belief system. Because when the government acknowledges that belief system, it doesn't do any damage, but it supports. And people then, okay, I'll choose local belief system rather than religion. But maybe, if in terms of politics, if you are Muslims, then, well, I lost some of my people because then they choose the local belief system. Well, that's politics, of course. But if in terms of human rights, yeah, then it's different. Yeah. And people think that it doesn't damage any damage to local belief system. It's really support. Yeah. Because of that policy, then people may have their own tradition, their own local belief system, and they really struggle for that. The problem with religion for them is that it's kind of imposed on them, and they should accept that. Like the people, let me show you this on the where do I have the religion? Now, when Suharto took power, and we should choose religions, the Kaharinans become the Hindus. How do you feel? Actually, you know nothing about Hinduism. But because this is old tradition or this is part of Hinduism, how do you feel there? Not comfortable. That's what happened to the Dayaks. Hindu, what is that Hindu? Hindu is Balinese. We are from Kalimantan. We know nothing about Hinduism. So, that's, for them really strange. That's why they struggle. We should be accepted with our own belief system. And these are the things. So you may now put, I'm a Kejawen. I'm a Sundawiwitan. Or I'm Patuntung. So when you die, they perform the rituals according to your own belief system. So it doesn't damage the local belief system, but make them grow or let them alive as it is. At least they don't destroy. But okay, if you want to get that. And this is really a progressive step. Because it's really changed. Because in the past, you cannot put that on your ID card. But today, you can. So in terms of human rights, this is an advance. And also for these people. I know one of them is from the Perbeku. And he didn't get a job because of his Perbeku. So how do you feel with that? That's why we struggle. Oh, I want to just, oh, you are Perbeku, you are not Christian, you may not. That's what happens. That's why people struggle to have local belief system put on their ID card. That is actual, and that is in terms of human rights. Not about religion, not about politics, but our right to have our own belief system. You think Islam is the best, it's yours. For us, our local belief system is the best. What do you think then? You can say, okay, we have to accept because we have Pancasila, where you respect every other religion. That's why they put that. They can now put that under ID card. This is the latest development. And I was asked about what my comments on this. Well, that's very good. But there's also a problem. Because if you want to have servers for rituals, then you should have the experts, right? I mean what is it? Like the imams, what do you know? Or religious leaders in their own way. Yeah. You should have that. And that's not big, it's not very easy. And this is a big problem for each of these local belief systems. Then you should have education to have your own religious leaders, okay? Yeah. You should have your own leaders, which is different from priest, which is different from imam, yeah? And you didn't get service from them. Yeah. So you have to create your own system. And this is not easy. But that's actually what they want to. That's what we have, they have to do. Okay? I hope this is clear. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, but also to lead from the question.
Okay.
You have 6 official.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyone, any religion belief can be registered on the ID card, or just only 6?
Who can put this? Yeah. It used to be only 6, one of the 6. But now you can have this.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's open.
Yeah, open. Yeah, it's open. Yeah, just open. Yeah. Because in the past you should choose one of them. So if you are Kehalingan, then you should push Hindu. Yeah. If you are Kejawen, you should put Hindus. Well, actually you are not Hindu. Yeah. And say, I don't know nothing about Hindu. I know nothing about Hindu. But why should I choose a Hindu? But that's the category of the government. So you should. And that's why many people that, well, now because I have to choose, now I like Catholic, oh, I like Protestant, something like just for ID card, without any feeling of religiosity. And that's the problem.
And when was this regulation modified or revised?
Excuse me.
When was it revised?
Well, I think about 1 year ago.
1 year
Yeah.
ago?
Yeah. So it's very recent development, very recent, maybe less than 1 year. Because I was asked to make some comments on it maybe a few months ago. Yeah. But it was mentioned it. And some people mentioned this and asked questions to me about this. And I say, well, that's good, yeah, for your identity. But look at also your own problems if you want to have this. Because you need services from the religious leaders, yeah, or that means your own religious leaders. And it means that you have certain services, then you need that, and yeah, you should build a system like other religion, and that's not easy. That's I think one of the biggest problem after this. Yeah. After it is accepted, then what is the impact? Oh, then I should have service this, and how can I get that? Oh, where can I get that? That's a big problem. But that's what they have to think about, yeah. Because they already get the rights to be mentioned on the ID card. Okay, but this is not the government problem, but their own group's problem. Okay, yeah.
Okay, 还有什么问题？真的没有吗？ Okay.
Yeah, you can explain to me.
我请问一下，就是印尼那么大，他们的法律是一样的吗？还是会因为种族跟地区的关系，或是宗教的关系，用不一样的法律
OK， 你的意思说他们是中央系统还是 local 的系统 ？OK，about the system of law, is it really different or different?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. Sorry, I forgot to mention about law. Actually, there are many, we still have what we call a customary law. That is, yeah, local laws. Because each ethnic groups have their own laws, yeah, rules, yeah, and they are not written. That's why the judge at that time accept the customary law. We call it adat law. Adat law. Adat is the custom. Right? So customary law. And each ethnic groups actually have their own laws. So if you look at the laws, then you have 5 laws. First, international, and then national, Indonesian, new, yeah, and then Western law, which is from the Dutch, yeah, and then religious law, whether you are Muslims, yeah, or Christian, yeah, and then ethnic law. So that's what we have in Indonesia, and they are still alive. For some problems, you use international law when you deal with international problems, yeah, globalization, with media, with investment, something like that. Yeah. Then you have your national law, when you have problems with education, political parties, yeah, there's a national. And then you have sometimes Dutch law, because it's still used, yeah, by Indonesians. Then you have that. So you have global, international, national, and then Western. And then you have Muslim or Christian. Then you have religious law. When you marry, yeah, which law you follow? Islam, yeah, Christian, Buddhism, Hindus, and then you have your own way. And then when you divide your heritage, yeah, in your own way, that is ethnic law. So you have 5 laws in Indonesia. And it depends upon the problems, which one you use. Yeah. Sometimes you use this, sometimes you use that, sometimes you use this, sometimes you use this. So you can choose, yeah, which laws is relevant in that. So we call it, plural law, pluralism in law in Indonesia. We have plural laws.
多元化的法律。But so, federal law, like in Malaysia.
Federal law, we call it national law.
National law.
Yeah, national law. That's for, we have national problems. Yeah.
So national law is on the top system?
It depends. Sometimes you have national, international law. Okay. Yeah, with like, if you, investment, maybe arbiter and political something, yeah, process. Then you have international law. But and then you have that national law, and then religious law, and ethnic law. So you have pluralism actually in laws in Indonesia. Okay, that's it. Okay, thank you very much for the question. Yeah, I forgot to mention it.
还有没有问题？
Hello, President. While the religion is a key factor for the people, for the candidate, religion is a key factor for the candidates to win election in Indonesia. Because most of the president is Islam and
Muslims.
Muslim, yeah. So that's why
Yeah, and that's and that's it. Although not everyone like that, yeah, but the situation is this. Actually, you should look at the level of education. Among those who are educated, they really dislike what you call politicization of religion, or politicization of race, because of you are Chinese, because you are non-Muslim. They really dislike it. That's why if you look at the percentage of the case of Ahok, then you have 58 and 42. And those 42 actually doesn't like politicization of religion. But of course, lost, yeah, the majority, but fortunately enough, it's only 58, yeah, not more than 60 or 70, yeah. If it's more than 70, then I don't know. Wow, this must be very bad, yeah. But okay, this is 58, yeah, and we hope that it will less and less. It means that people will be more educated and know more about politicization of religion. Yeah. Now, maybe still valid, yeah, still accepted. But I don't think with the case of Jokowi, yeah, it might be different, yeah, because his situation is different. And I think, and if you look at the social media in Indonesia, the WhatsApp and so forth, you see that many people actually doesn't like politicization of religion. Yeah. Although in some groups they do that, but in many ways, maybe half and half, yeah, if you look at it. Yeah. And we hope that less and less who like the politicization of religion. And now it's growing, yeah, because now certain groups of younger generation, yeah, they like, they wanted certain law, what they call, what is blasphemy law, to be banned, yeah, to be stopped, yeah, to be erased from Indonesian law, because it's not very good law. Yeah, it's not very good. So we try to do that. But this is a new movement, and we hope that in the future, religion will not be politicized, and it will not become instruments of politics in the future. But today, some people use it. We know that, yeah, we know that. But actually, not all of them like that. Yeah. And what the case of how in Jakarta, okay, might be valid in Jakarta, but the whole Indonesia might be different. And we hope it's different. Yeah, we hope that it will be different from the case of Ahok. And we hope that many people do not agree with politicization of religion. That's what we have. We don't know. We'll see in the next edition. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Okay.
Yeah, but the problem is the majority of population are Muslims, so it's difficult to produce a non-Muslim president of the nation rulers, right?
Yeah.
It's a Christian president.
Yeah.
Or
that's why we should change the what. Well, actually, before there's a new changes, or especially in what is it? Undang-undang dasar. Yeah. What is it? Laws. Some changes, yeah. Because if you look at the principles, what you have is not majority or minority, but we call it mufakat or consensus. Yeah. You have dialogues, and you have consensus, and you reach agreement, and you don't think about whether you are majority, minority. No, everyone is the same on that, and that is Pancasila actually. But after Reformation, they changed. Yeah, and that's why then they realized, oh, we are Muslim majority, then we should rule. That's not big idea. Yeah. That's why some people, well, we made some mistakes. Yeah. Maybe you should go back to our old Pancasila, where we have more consensus with dialogues. So whether you are Christian, whether you're Chinese or Batak or Japanese, you can go up, yeah, when you are really in capacity to have that position. And that's what we want to actually. We hope that we will be able to do that, but we don't know. Let's see in the future.
Okay, the key issue is Pancasila.
Yeah.
你们知道什么叫Pancasila吗？知道，请举手。这几个而已嘛，哈。建国五原则。Could you explain a little bit about
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
Because they don't understand.
Okay. Actually, what Pancasila? Okay.
建国五原则。
I mentioned about Pancasila. Wait a minute. Where is it? Okay. State principles, maybe. Yeah, Pancasila. Pancasila. We have actually, if we look at the state symbol, bird, yeah, Garuda, we call it Garuda, a mythical bird, and they have with shield, yeah, with 5 picture. Yeah? You have, for instance, star in the middle, and then you have head of plantain, Pablo, and then you have cotton and rice, and then you have cotton and paddy, and then you have banyan tree, and then you have chain. Those things actually symbolize 5 principles of Indonesia. The first is that you believe in one God, the oneness of God, ketuhanan yang Maha Esa. That's the first principle. The second is humanity. And then the third is nationality. And then the fourth is that you have dialogue, consensus. And then the fifth is social justice. So you have those 5 principles in Indonesia. It means that there is no majority, no minority, but you should have religion or actually belief system. That's what it is. So you have 5 principles, and the state should based on this. Pancasila. 5 panca is 5, sila is principles. So we have 5 principles. The state should follow this. This is the ideology of the state. And if you look at the symbol of that mythical bird, Garuda, then on the below, you see a ribbon. The legs of the bird, there's ribbon, and on the ribbon it's stated Bhinneka Tunggal Ika. It means unity in diversity. So although you are from different ethnic groups, we have 740 ethnic groups, but we are united. We are Indonesians. So the principle of unity in diversity is very, very important. That's why, although we are different, we should keep our differences, but we are actually united as a nation. That's why we have that Garuda Pancasila, 5 principles and the principles of unity in diversity. That's why we still can accept differences among the people. We should respect these differences, and we like differences. We don't like uniformity, where everyone have the same costume, have the same color. So we like more variations. Ethnic languages, 700, okay, we like that. Different costumes, different traditions, we respect that. That's actually what we have in Indonesia. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now I want to give you a challenge question. Because in Pancasila, the first principle is believe in one God, monotheism. Under this circumstance, then the polytheism must be excluded. And how do you recognize Confucianism as a monotheist? How do you recognize Confucianism as a monotheism?
Okay, yeah.
Now, to us, it's philosophy, it's not a religion.
Yeah.
Chinese do believe polytheism, not monotheism, right?
Okay, that is actually not the state's business. That is your own business to reinterpret Confucius in terms of Pancasila. But we accept your conclusion. Whether is it really monotheism or not, that's not our big problem. That is your own problem. That's not the problem of the state. So that's the difference. The state doesn't decide what kind of belief system you should have or what kind of philosophy. Okay, you have your own philosophy, but please, try to connect it with Pancasila in your own way, not in ours. That's your business. If you said, oh, Confucianism is really Pancasila, okay, that's good. We accept that. Now you explain to us so that we can help you. So that's not the business of the government. That's like this one. The 5, the local religions. Okay, sorry. I'd like to do this. No, it depends on them. How actually, how should you explain this, that they are part of Pancasila? That's not the business of the government. That is their own business. Oh, you are part of Indonesia. Please explain your belief system that this is still Pancasila. So that's the way. So in that case, the government have not much problem. Yeah. But if we have to decide for them, then we have a lot of problem. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Confucian is not a reason. But because Chinese, ethnic Chinese in Indonesia, they believe in they follow Christianity or Buddhism or even Taoism. And even for the idol worship, if you go to a Chinese temple, a lot of gods there. So it's not qualified for the first principle.
Yeah, if you look at from maybe, well, again, actually this is not my task to explain this, because this is in this frame of thought. Yeah, the idea is first that you should have God. That's first, or maybe deeper than that, you should have belief system. That's actually the core. And how is your belief system? Actually, we do not discuss it in deep. Yeah. It's up to you. Yeah. But you should have, or you should respect that we have, spirituality. Or maybe, now it's better if you define it spirituality. Yeah. But that's actually more the meaning, rather than just the oneness of God. Yeah. But in the past, it's ketuhanan yang Maha Esa. But if you want to improve further, you can define it to spirituality actually. Yeah. But again, this is more the task of the people who have this thing, and those from the state, if they want to have this, consensus on the meaning of their first principles and the meaning of their religion, whether they are Pancasila or not. I think that's what I can do answer. Thank you very much.
OK，我再补充说一下，事实上呢，就是说印尼并没有把 Islam 作为国家的宗教，像马来西亚一样，即使他们是穆斯林为主的国家但是呢，刚刚Professor Heddy讲过，就是说宗教常常被政治化，所以造成会那个不同族群的那个冲突。所以这个事实上跟国家的政策应该是没有很直接的关系，就是说人为的运作的一些问题了。还有没有什么问题？OK，speak louder，讲大声点。
我想问，就关于那 Confucianism， 就这边写是 Chinese， 可是像Hinduism， 它是以巴厘岛为主，然后Catholic 跟 Protestant 可能是以 Papua 为主，所以像这个 Confucianism， 它是一个以特定的 race 为主，只有一个特定的 race 去信仰的一个宗教嘛。然后另外一个想问的问题是，像那就每个宗教它会有一个 leader 嘛，那想问一下，这个 Confucianism 的 leader 是谁
？Okay. Well, is it for you or for me?
你的第一个问题说那个 the regulation this designation for Confucian as an official language is according to the ethnic group or something regular, some standard. According to ethnic group, the Confucianism. For Chinese, means Chinese religion. And today I have a Confucian, the Chinese religious leader in Confucianism.
Well, I have to say that I don't know much about Confucianism, but what I know is that Indonesia, I think the state here, tried to accept that the Chinese or those certain ethnic groups have their own belief system. Whether you call it belief system or not, we do not know. That's not the business of the state. Yeah? But we think, oh, you have that rituals, we have that kind of belief system, then you have what we call religion. Whether you agree or not, it's not, you know, very big problem. But we accept you as you and with your rituals. And we call it Confucianism.
Yeah, it's a bit ambiguous.
Yeah, of course. If you are Chinese, then, oh, there's not Confucianism, oh, there's not religion. Well, you may have debate on that. But that's not the business of the state. The business of the state is accept your philosophy as quote-unquote religion. Whether you agree or not, it doesn't matter. Yeah. At least with that case, you can live in Indonesia legally. At least. Then you can have how you are confident and you have your own rituals. Because actually, the Indonesian doesn't really know what Confucianism is. Yeah? Because it is ethics, philosophy, or religion. So, and it's not very easy to define. Yeah? Is Islam religion or is it philosophy?
Well, that's speaking of why did he know about the Confucianism?
Yeah, that's why since President Wahid, it is accepted as the sixth religion in Indonesia.